A couple weeks ago, me and my wife, we decided to watch and check out this movie that I don't necessarily think it's dropped recently, but a lot of our friends, our church family have talked about it, called The Forge. Put it somewhere around here so you can see it. If you don't know what The Forge is, long story short, Forge is a Christian movie. We follow our main character Isaiah, and essentially it's a good-hearted movie about the importance of discipleship, mentorship within church, and within our walk with Jesus. Outside of that, really, the message was great, phenomenal message, awesome. Really never seen it done before in a movie like that. But outside of the message, uh, uh, the movie was. I could sit here and rant about all the things that I did not like about the movie. If you follow me anywhere on social media at Two Bloody on all platforms, thank you. I posted kind of like I just like doing my movie reviews and stuff there on there like that. And some of my points were, just the Christianese, right? Almost speaking a different language that unless you were ingrained in church culture, you probably really won't understand. Very poor acting. It kind of just felt like it was like AI robots reading off a script in super monotone voice. Again, just was not good at all. And really emotionally flat characters. There really was no reason to invest into any of these characters. The moment they even started to touch on, any sensitive topics that a lot of people deal with, they really shied away from it. And that was really some of where this movie fell flat. I could really take a lot of these main points and almost slap them on 80+% of Christian media today, and it really applies, right? It's just the Christianese, the poor acting, the poor cinematography, just the almost like no creativeness at all. And the question is, what is the purpose of the Christian creative space, movies, TV shows, music, video games, I don't know, whatever it is creatively, YouTube, what is the purpose of it? Really, ultimately, it's to inspire and to bring people closer to Jesus. Yet, a lot of the times, 99% of the times, just to be hyperbolic, it really just ends up looking like some low budget youth group skit that people threw together last minute. Why, as Christians, why don't we have the best media? Why don't we have the best movies, the best TV shows? Why don't we have the best, YouTube channels and the best cooking, whatever it is, any of the across the spectrum of creativity and things like that. Why don't we have the best stuff? Now, before I know some people are watching this, like,
Well, all Christian stuff is not bad.
yes, you are very much right. We can go through the line. Prince of Egypt, one of the best Disney movies of all time. Amazing animation, amazing storytelling, amazing soundtrack and score. Even recent things like The Chosen, even Christian music. Some people, I cannot say their name because they're currently going on an insane Twitter rant literally in this moment while I'm recording this. It's already very slim pickings when it comes to the media that we do have. Us as Christians, anything that comes out even with a small glimpse of being good, where it's like, oh my gosh, great, this is perfect, 10 out of 10 movie, the best movie of all time, da 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 da. And it's like, it's not good. And then we settle, and then we keep getting content, we keep getting media that's just not good. In 2020, when the whole world shut down, services were being closed in some places, schools were shut down, people were no longer meeting together in homes. The church, or at least some churches, had to get creative on how do we reach people that are no longer outside, that are no longer coming to attend, that are no longer going to attend a small group in person. How do we reach these people? And this low-key was one of the best things to happen to the church content and creative space. The church, Christians, we had to learn how to engage with people online. And in a positive note, this was really the beginning for just this uprise of Christian media going in the right direction. But we almost think that, well, within as Christians, when we make movies, when we make TV shows, when we make music, we have to be very cautious on what we say, what we do. And to a certain extent, yes, we do. But that doesn't mean we cannot create great material. And not only for Christians to watch them because they're Christian, but also non-Christians that see this and they're like, man, this is excellent. This is awesome. I want to invest my time into this. So, what are some things or what are some ways that we can start to see within our sphere, our media, our music, our TV shows, our movies? What can we do to start to see these things become better? Start telling stories, right? We can be way better storytellers, whether it be through testimonies, but not only through stories of necessarily, quote unquote realism. We need to tell stories like C.S. Lewis or Tolkien, right? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Where this was a story that was also telling and preaching the gospel, but in a way through fantasy, right? We need more storytellers that can create things and create narratives and stories that preach the gospel, that preach biblical concepts, that talk about life and death and just all the things that encompass this world and life that we're living in, but through a biblical lens, and ultimately lead people closer to Jesus. Two, listen, invest in quality. We need to make quality content, and nowadays it is very easy to make quality content. The average phone, you could go and you could buy an iPhone 13 Pro for, I believe I was just seeing, we were just looking at phones the other day, for like $200. Maybe not the Pro, but even just the regular 13 for $200. And those, they shoot in 4K, right? You can get, wireless mics, or even this Yeti that I'm using now. I bought this 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. I bought this in 2020, ironically, with this video. Bought this in 2020 for $100, right? $100, right? Quality now, you can make really high quality content pretty cheap. And that's what we need. No one wants to check out the video that looks like it's been pixelated, uber dumb times, and it's at like 720p, and you sound like T-Pain, auto-tune talking through one of those box fans. Like, no one wants to check that out, right? No one's gonna want to watch your TikTok that looks like my grandfather did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to check that out. And it's okay. For whatever reason, we think that, only in the Christian space we can make content that's not high quality. No, we do. We have a duty to put out the best things. Doesn't mean you got to go get a $50,000 camera. Doesn't mean you need $5,000 software. A little bit goes a long way in today's world. And even for my movie directors out there, even for my videographers, even for whatever, right? You look at the show The Chosen. The show The Chosen was crowdfunded, right? And again, one of the number one things that I hear from it is like the cinematography, the quality is great. Regardless of what you think about the content, the cinematography and the quality is great. And it was crowdfunded. And it looks better than most Netflix shows and movies, right? Most streaming shows and movies looks better than a lot of movies, even just in general that come out looks better than, and it was crowdfunded. So you can go a long way with, again, investing into quality, right? Thinking of The Chosen movie, the cinematography was not good. It looked like, one of those, one of those Spanish soap operas, right? Like,
You need to leave.
like the quality wasn't good, and I think we can learn to invest into the quality of our things. That's why I went and got a camera. That's why I went and learned how to do audio. I don't know if the audio is great in this video. I hope it is. If not, I just played myself. All right, next point. Engage with the culture. Don't just copy the culture. Culture is very big, right? And everyone has a culture. And remember, we are not of the world, but we are in the world. And unfortunately, sometimes what we see nowadays is we see people just try to copy the culture, but they don't want to engage with the culture. What do I mean? I'm tired of hearing Christian rap songs, that's just copying the hottest song. Like, Why am I looking at a Christian rap song remixing Not Like Us? We can make original things, we can make dope things, and they can reflect and look like some aspects of the culture, right? They can match a sound, right? They can match a theme. It doesn't have to promote obviously the things that are promoted in certain songs or certain aspects, but we need to engage with the culture. One of my favorite stories, right, of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I think a lot of people glimpse this or they skip over this, was how they were able to thrive in Babylon, right? This is the term. We did this in church series, Thrive in Babylon, right? This was one of the ways how they're able to thrive in Babylon, was that God gave them understanding and knowledge of all of the culture of Babylon. Their sayings, their phrases, their practices, all that. God gave them knowledge and understanding of all these things, which is very important, right? Which was very important to them, leading to them being successful there. And for whatever reason, we think as Christians, right, being in the world but not of the world, that it doesn't pay it doesn't pay to have an understanding on what's cool, what's awesome, what's like, what are people listening to, what do people like, what are people talking about, right? We have to engage with the culture, not copy the culture. We don't have to become of the culture, but we have to engage it engage it in a healthy way to gain an understanding, can gain even a competitive edge. So what we're creating is not just in our Christian bubble, because that's what a lot of Christian stuff is, right? God's not dead. Listen, no unsaved person go and watch God's Not Dead, and a lot of people don't get or don't even understand what they're watching. Why? Because it's Christianese, and a lot of Christianese is only ingrained in church culture. Unless you grew up in church or you're actively in church, you don't know what's being talked about. You don't know what's going on. And then it creates a barrier that now, remember, here's the goal, is telling stories, inspiring people to be closer to Jesus. You are now creating a barrier that separates someone from being able to understand what you're making. And that's not the goal, right? And yes, some content that we make will be specifically for Christians, but more in a broader scheme of like, hey, I want someone to catch this that might not go to church or might be worried about church or might not know about Jesus. I want that person to catch this and be able to watch this and it be able to shine even a little bit of light on Jesus that even draws them a little bit closer to Jesus. All right, y'all, that's pretty much my rant. I can honestly go on about the Christian media, movies, and stuff like that for forever. You'll definitely hear and see more content like this. Listen, if you laughed, got convicted, or learned anything from watching this video today, man, I would love it if you liked this video, shared it with a friend, and subscribe and hit the noti bell so you never miss a video again. Listen, I love y'all. See y'all soon. Peace.